Hello, dear twin flames, and welcome to this new reading for this new week. The upper row, as usual, is for the energy of the divine masculine, and the lower row is for the energy of the divine feminine. So let's start with the first card. First card here, we see the Ace of Swords. The divine masculine feels that this connection is like a double-edged sword. While on one side it has the power to take him to heaven, on the other side it also has the capacity to drag him to hell. And he also realizes that once he's on this journey, there is no going back. No matter how much he tries to, or how much he sometimes in frustration he wishes, he cannot leave the journey. It's like once you are on this journey, for him, for the masculine, there's no going back. This is something similar to what the feminine also experiences. There is no going back. The blue mountains here, they are the dreams and ambitions of the divine masculine. And the gray mountains, they are the obstacles, the harsh obstacles standing in the way, the fears, and the logical mind telling him so many things that can go wrong. But in spite of all that, he deep inside, he does know that he will achieve success. A crown is a symbol of success on this journey. He deep down, he knows that he's just not on this wild goose chase, that this journey is really helping him, evolving him, making him the best version of himself. It's a journey of self-development. It's a journey of union with his own soul. He has awareness of all this. It's not just that, it's not all. He has those fears sometimes, but he also has a lot of awareness now. Awareness of what is really going on. The masculines, they're also reading. They're reading about this connection. They are very, very intrigued and interested in knowing more about this connection. And then this Ace of Swords is also talking about a major breakthrough. As we see the whole world, there's a shift going on. With what's going on in the world, there's definitely a shift happening. Like, we are seeing something like the biblical, the great flood happening. We are all in a houseboats trying to reach into the other side of the flood. So I do see that there's going to be a major breakthrough for the divine masculine during this turbulent times on the planet. Definitely there are going to be shifts in his mind. We just saw the pink supermoon, which is all about connecting with real love and your real feelings. So with so much happening in the cosmos, the one thing about the cosmos is that it is not stagnant. Stagnancy doesn't exist in the cosmos. Everything is flowing, everything is moving, energy is moving, thoughts are moving, everything is in motion. If you really think that the divine masculine is in a state of stagnancy, then you're wrong. They have a lot of activity going on in their life. They have a lot of mental activity, a lot of spiritual activity happening for them. To you, it might look like they're in a phase of stagnancy and nothing is really going on in their life. Maybe they're trying to project that to you, but really they have a lot of, the sword is representing the mental aspect of the spirit. They have a lot of mental activity going on. The next card is the Wheel. The divine masculine is learning to trust in the process. They are learning to trust. It was very, very difficult for the divine masculine to trust what is happening. Because when you find something so precious, when you find this treasure, the first thing that comes in your mind is the fear of losing it. For everybody, we are all human beings. We have this built-in fight or flight response, wherein we tend to, when we are faced with something which we don't know, we think it's something that will cause us, that can break us. We either fight it or we take flight. That's what the divine masculine is doing. He's doing both. He's fighting with the divine feminine and also taking flight. But slowly he's learning to trust in the process. As he's coming into the true knowledge of what's really happening, what's really going on. He has been in the energy of trying to steer the ship of his destiny his whole life. Like he was leading a life wherein he was the captain of his ship. He was in charge. He knew exactly where his life was going. He planned his own life. He liked to be in control. That is something which he was used to. That is something he was comfortable with, being in control. And now he finds that as much as he tries to, he cannot control his feelings. He cannot control, sometimes he cannot even control how he's behaving. He's just scared. All his feelings will come pouring out. He needs that mask, like to protect his feelings. The mask that he wears, very symbolic of how humans are wearing a mask now to protect them from the virus. He's wearing that mask, just to protect his spirit from what he thinks is a inevitable heartbreak. But I do see that cycle is ending. The whole wearing a mask and hiding everything, and it's like you can see this cave representing a tomb and a womb. So it's like always our the whole cosmos and our life is in cycles. Everything is in cycles. So I do see that the process of the divine masculine wearing his mask and hiding behind that mask will see its tomb. And then from the womb will arise the new awakened divine masculine, who is not afraid of emotions and deep feelings and healthy expression of those feelings. Who is comfortable with surrendering to a greater power, a force greater than himself. In this 3D life, yes, it's not like they are, not believing in God, or it's not like they're complete atheists, but they pretty much thought that they were completely in charge of their destiny. They could like everything was in their hands. The free will, they really thought that their free will far exceeded the destiny. It overrode the destiny. And I think they're coming into the realization that is not so. It's always the will of the universe which will reign supreme. It's always the will of God or the universe which will reign supreme. You cannot override the will of God. Nobody can. The universe will do what it wants to do. We have to be in the energy of surrendering. So yeah, they are ending that cycle of trying to control everything and coming into the energy of trusting the process, trusting the universe, and trusting the connection. It's magical also, and it's very scary also for them. It's magical to think that the universe has presented with to them their perfect partner, and then it's very scary to them to think that what can be given to them can be taken away. In the next card we see Justice, Lady Justice. Okay, so Lady Justice, she sits on her throne, the two pillars of severity and mercy behind her, the veil behind her. This is the energy of the divine masculine wanting to speak his truth. He has been, the mask, wearing the mask is a defense mechanism. What he really wants is to speak his truth to the divine feminine. He really wants to speak his truth, but he's not finding the courage to do it. And then there are all these fears about what happens if I speak my truth. What happens if I'm not accepted as I am. Because acceptance, everybody, all of us humans, we struggle with acceptance. Right from the time we are born, we're struggling to be accepted into a peer group, into a friend circle, accepted by our teachers or by our parents. Or acceptance, I think, is the most difficult element we had to face in this human experience, and especially for the masculine. The divine masculine has been struggling his whole life for acceptance, having to go through what he did. And now in his last lifetime, going through his awakening, having to deal with a lot of past obstacles. He's not very sure about acceptance, that the divine feminine will accept him the way he is. And this is a fear all of us have. The fear of not being accepted as we are by the people who we care for the most is a fear, almost like a primal fear that everybody has. And for the divine masculine, it is magnified, it is multiplied like a million times. It's only the fear of not being accepted for who they are, with all their mistakes of the past, with all their wounds and their hurts and their defects and whatever they think that is wrong with them. This connection kind of highlights to them what is wrong with them. They're very aware of their faults. It's like the twin flame is like a mirror, and suddenly you become hyper aware of all that you think is wrong with you. That's what the divine masculine is going through. Keeping a comfortable distance to keep his flaws away from the feminine. That's what he's doing. But he really wants to speak his truth. The day he will be able to fearlessly speak his truth to the feminine will be the happiest day of his life. But he's building up for that day. It's like he's buying time for that day. He's building up courage. He's building up confidence for that day. And the number here is 11. The twin flame number The two pillars, they're twin flame pillars. You know, in a real twin flame connection, it's there is only truth. It's all about truth and raw honesty and real communication. You cannot hide anything from your twin flame. The white lies that your twin flame tells you is just as a method of defense. It's a self-defense mechanism. Your real true twin flame, your divine masculine, the real one, will not lie to you on matters that are very important. Okay, he will be really, really honest with you, unless, wherein he thinks that he's in the risk of a heartbreak. The white lies, I call them the white lies. When they run away, they will just tell you a bunch of white lies and run away. When they're trying to avoid you, when they're ghosting you, they're all white lies, which are allowed in the whole process. The white lies give them the added shield of protection. They can hide behind the white lies. That doesn't mean that they are, dishonest people. Divine masculines are very, very, very honest people. They're sorted people. They do not want to cheat anybody, least of all their divine feminine. In the next card, we see the Emperor. Okay, we see the sun here. The sun represents divine source. Okay, the divine masculine is being guided by divine source. He's also receiving the divine downloads, the divine inspirations, which are propelling him and propelling his soul to take the path on this journey. It's not a like a blind path for him. He's receiving downloads from the divine. Every human being, the universe or God or source or whatever you call it, speaks through us, through our subconscious mind. We receive inputs from God through our subconscious mind. We're not blindly put on this earth to, go through our lives randomly with no direction. We have that GPS in our subconscious mind. We only have to listen and be aware of it. The lamb here, you see two lambs and there is a ram here. Okay, this is the process. This card is very much symbolic of how it's the process of the evolution of the divine masculine. Like he started off the journey, he was he was the matrix twin, the sleeper twin in the 3D, like the lamb. When he first only encountered this divine connection, it caught him off guard. He was caught in his most innocent, almost childlike wonder. He was just wondering about this whole twin flame connection. And he was showing vulnerability, which soon he knew that it could turn into powerlessness. The connection made him vulnerable. And like for men, they think vulnerability is weakness. Like they don't think that. Like society, the media kind of pushes that message that, being vulnerable and being open is some kind of a weakness in this world. Like in the big bad world. Being vulnerable and being open is being foolish and asking for, trouble. But that's not really how it is. So the evolution from the lamb to the ram. The ram here represents power, leadership, inner strength, authority. He has to, like when he was first touched by this love, it evoked that Christ consciousness in the divine masculine. When you're first touched by this magical love of the twin flame, the wonder, the beauty of the love, it kind of evokes the Christ consciousness which is already dormant in them. And then they have to evolve and embody that Christ consciousness. That will be the awakened and evolved divine masculine. Turn that vulnerability into his inner strength. Only the strong can be vulnerable. The weak cannot be vulnerable. But during this evolution, you can see the red cord, the red string of fate is always tied to his feminine. Now, yes, he's taking time to evolve. He's taking time out to reflect, to think, to evolve, to grow. But he's not letting you go. Twin flames, the red string of fate is always tying them together. And he's always looking at his feminine. His eyes are only for his feminine. Don't think that because there is separation and because there is so much of time out, they will go and date someone else, or they will, marry someone else, and that's just, it's a fear. It's an insecurity that most of the divine feminines have. Their eyes are set on you. They are evolving so that they can sustain themselves in a relationship with you. They think that requires great inner strength. In the next card, we see the matriarch of vessels, which is the Native American counterpart of the Queen of Cups. Okay. Here we see the energy of being in touch with your emotions. Like they have been shutting off their emotions so that they don't feel vulnerable and ultimately don't have a heartbreak. But here we see they're coming into the energy of being in touch with their emotions. They realize that, emotions, the ability to emote is a superpower. You cannot cram all our emotions in our spirit and expect to live a healthy life. Emoting is very, very important. It's a superpower, and generally in our society it has been set to only be the domain of the feminine, and men are not allowed to emote. They are only allowed to show masculine tantrums of anger, But the divine masculine is coming into the energy of being in touch with his emotions, feeling very deeply, and realizing that it is not dangerous. It's not dangerous to feel so much of love. Love is not, loving someone so deeply is not dangerous. It is a gift. He's realizing that they were thinking that, this is something very dangerous. The depth of the love can destroy them. But now they are coming into the lighter side of it, that, it is a gift. To be loved so deeply and to love someone so deeply, it is a gift. It's a gift not given, not to many. And they have to be grateful. They know that gratitude is something they have to embody, otherwise the universe will take it away from them. Coming into the energy of gratitude, coming into the energy of thinking of this whole twin flame divine connection as a gift. That will override the fear. Like everybody thinks, all the feminines think, how will the masculine override their fear? How will they get over the fear? We talk about the whole fear of the divine masculine, how they are panicking over this connection. They will get over their fear by coming in touch with their real emotions. Love will win over fear. Love always wins over fear. Coming totally into their heart space. Because love is, there is not even a word called fear. It's actually the word fever. So they will realize that only love is real. Love is the only real force in the universe. In the next card, we see this beautiful card. I really love this card. I call it the twin flame card. The merging of the divine masculine and the feminine. It talks about the Greek tale of how humans were created with 4 arms and 4 legs and 2 heads, and then the god Zeus, he feared the power of humans and he split them into 2, and they were left searching for the other half. And I really think that this is true. I don't think it's a Greek myth, I really think that it's something real. I believe in it. It's real. it's to make you realize that you are a soul with masculine and feminine polarities. I mean, you're not a half. See, you have to think in a very real and correct way. Okay, I don't encourage the thinking that because we're twin flames, we are half a soul. No, we are not half. I'm not a half. I'm a whole and complete soul by myself. But I have out there my opposite polarity in my twin flame. The division of the souls, the division of the divine spark was done so that there are two sets of polarities can experience the 3D, the earthly plane very more easily. The divine spark was split into male and female just for making the 3D experience diverse and more enjoyable. You are going to become a whole after you are out of the 3D. Remember that. These are the twin flames. We have been right from the time that our soul was created millions of years ago. Split. The yearning. Okay, this explains the yearning that the feminines feel, and they think it's obsession, and they think that they are being desperate. It's not desperacy. It's that yearning to join with the other part of your soul and become one whole unit. It's the most natural thing in the universe. It's like the two twin flames are magnets. The yearning to become a whole. The yearning, it doesn't really go away. You learn to handle it and live with it. Okay, it's very much real for the divine masculine too. The yearning. They just learn how to mask it very well. Kind of showing the one heart. It's more evident during twin flame sex. The chakras, they're one chakra system. You're actually one divine spark in two bodies. I won't say half of souls. I would say one divine spark in two bodies. And it's so exciting that in this last lifetime you're going through this wonderful, wonderful twin flame journey. And there are so many of us. Balance is also, balancing the elements within ourselves, the masculine and feminine polarities within ourselves. We have, it's like when the divine spark is split, each part of the divine spark carries some of the opposite polarity. You are always having visions of your twin flame right from the time you were born. You're having this unconscious awareness of them. Like they may be coming in your dreams. You may be identifying with their body type or their facial features, or somewhere along the way your soul has within itself the imprint of your twin flame. They are very, very familiar. Their voice is very, very familiar. The whole familiarity. You feel like you've come home. Okay, coming to the energy of the divine feminine here. Okay, now the first card for the divine feminine is the Emperor. See, this is something I have been seeing for the divine feminine for a long time. That the divine feminine, the Emperor energy here means I am in charge. Okay, the ram head is here, leadership. the granite throne also, it's symbolizing authority. In the twin flame journey, the divine feminine is in charge. It's in charge. When I say it's in charge, I mean mostly I think it's a separation phase. Okay, those who are in the separation phase mostly. And those who are not happy about being the divine feminine or being the so-called chaser. Okay, this is because the feminine polarity can love fearlessly more easily than the masculine polarity. The symbol here the emperor is carrying is of the Egyptian ark, means eternal life. Life is eternal and love is also eternal. We don't die. Our bodies, we just go into the next body, and love also never dies. Love is eternal. It's like the feminine polarity, the feminine energy can accept this truth without much fear, whereas the masculine polarity cannot. Okay, and you can see the emperor is wearing this armor inside. The feminines, yes, they also feel a certain level of insecurity and fear. But they are wearing their love over the fear. Like the fear is not stopping them from loving the masculine. Like how this emperor is wearing his the cloak and robes over the armor. He's not wearing the armor over the robes. It's a very big symbolism here. Like the fear is not stopping the divine feminine from loving. That's the difference between the masculine polarity and the feminine polarity. The fear for the masculine is making them take flight, making them not love. Whereas it's not really doing that to the feminine. They are loving in spite of the fear. Because deep inside them, they have the knowing that this love is eternal. It is something that they have experienced before with the same person, and something that, it's going to be forever. It will just be there forever. They cannot make it go away. It's not going away. It's like it's in their essence. This love is something that is part of them. They cannot separate themselves from this love. And the divine feminine, it's interesting here, the emperor, for the masculine, the emperor is this young person shown here, and for the feminine, the emperor is shown with a elderly person, the white beard, and because the feminine energy more, it's the age of the soul evolution, more evolved than the masculine polarity. So because the divine feminine is more awakened, already more evolved, and has the capacity to put love over fear, they are put in charge of the journey. This is the simple truth. It's not something to feel bad about. It's not something to say that it's unfair to the divine feminine. No, it's not unfair. And everything will be balanced out as you go along in this journey. The universe is always in balance. Any imbalance cancels itself out. There are laws and rules in the universe. We don't live in a haphazard universe. We live in a perfectly ordered universe. So yes, the divine feminine is in charge of the twin flame relationship. In the next card here we see the Fool. Zero, the number of the Fool, zero. It's the starting point. It's the null. The card is called the Fool and looks like this man is going to jump off the cliff. He's not even looking where he's going. That doesn't mean that the divine feminine is not not experienced or ignorant or powerless. No. This is an act of courage. What is happening here, the process happening here, is an act of great courage. He's carrying, these are his past wounds, but she's carrying those wounds with her. It's a light bag, not much baggage. She has worked through most of the baggage, but some of the fears and insecurities remain. She's carrying them with her, and she's ready to jump off the cliff. She's ready to, fall. And yeah, she knows that she may break her bones and, break her heart, and much more damage can happen. But that doesn't mean that she will keep herself from experiencing this divine love. It's this twin flame path is like the highest risk path. In the 3D world, there are these dangerous roads they show on YouTube or on television about these most dangerous roads in the world where there's a lot of risk to travel. But I think in the whole of the 3D, the twin flame journey is the highest risk path, because we are going only guided by source, by our intuition, which are not considered tangible items in the 3D. You can't just go to a bar and say, oh, I'm listening to my intuition, and nobody will have an idea of what the hell you're talking about. These are not tangible things in the 3D. Intuition, source, and the divine. If you say divine, then people will think you're talking about religion, because our 3D has definite labels for everything. Everything is labeled. Everything is put in boxes and labeled. And here we are on this twin flame journey where we don't have a box with a label. We don't have a manual about how this is going to go. There's no textbook. The white flowers here represent how divine this path is, how everybody, every twin flame, masculine, feminine, they are being guided by source. And this is something, even if there is a twin flame who's an atheist, he will maybe not admit this to his friends, but he knows that there is a power higher than himself or herself which is guiding him. The having complete trust is a superpower. It's like in the past, I'm a divine feminine. In my past, I have been labeled gullible and naive for trusting. Those are the labels that the 3D world puts on us. People who we are the, we trust the universe so much that people think we are fools. That we can be just, taken for a ride anytime. That's not really how it is. Trusting, the power to trust is a superpower. We are not gullible and we are not naive. It takes great courage to trust, to open our hearts, which have been badly hurt before. In the next card, we see the Queen of Swords energy. This is something that the divine feminine has to clear out. The Queen of Swords energy, because she has overcome many physical and emotional challenges. She has become a bit hard-hearted, or at least trying to show a tough exterior. Her crown is filled with butterflies, showing the transformation that has occurred because of past trauma. Spiritual transformation is not pretty. You don't sit and meditate on a pretty blanket and then become spiritually transformed. Spiritual transformation is messy. Your heart has to be ripped out of your rib cage. The trauma, the pain that you have to endure, the spirit has to really be put under pressure turn the coal spirit into a diamond spirit. So that's what has happened with the divine feminine. The clouds here is the drama of the world. We are surrounded by drama. We are surrounded by friends who don't believe in our journey. We are surrounded by well-meaning family members who think we are crazy. We have to deal with them. They're not going away anywhere, and neither are they going to come into our belief system. And this cloak with the clouds, they are the past painful memories that we carry in ourselves. Memories wherein our heart was broken, our trust was broken, wherein we have every right not to trust and we have every right not to love. But we just wear that cloak with pride. It's just another lesson learned, and it's not a barrier to stop us from loving again. This is a very severe energy of the divine feminine. I see a bit of tenderness lacking in this Queen of Swords energy. Yes, life has been very difficult. And as we are from the angelic realms, 3D is especially painful for us. The harshness of the world, the drama of the world, the lack of love in people, the lack of kindness, the lack of compassion, it really gets to us. But yes, we do have to navigate the 3D with full trust. Be full. Maybe I can call this card the full. Being full of trust and full of knowing that we are on the right path, and that one day the whole world will become like us. Okay, we now come to the fears of the divine feminine. The divine feminine, although she is in charge, she also has her own set of fears. Fear that all this might just be my imagination. Fear that, there's some great deception happening here. Or that this could not be my real twin flame. This could be a false twin flame. Fear that I'm bracing myself. I'm setting myself up for the biggest heartbreak of my life. Okay, there are a lot of fears that the divine feminine has. But they don't allow those fears to overrule their love. You can see the moon card is reverse. The fears are like dormant, like they are there, but the divine feminine knows how to navigate those fears. Fear is a natural human response in the human psyche, but the divine feminine knows how to navigate that fear. She knows how to work with that fear. That's the main difference here in the journey. How the feminines are the nurturers and the masculines are mostly the avoiders. The feminines, they know how to navigate the fear. The masculines do not know how to navigate that fear. This is a confirmation of spirit that this is not just your imagination. Your twin flame is real, you are real, and we are all on this twin flame journey, rushing towards our reunion to live the life of heaven on earth. Just a friendly reminder from spirit. Okay, let's go to the next card here. It's the medicine wheel, and we have similar cards for the masculine and feminine in this reading, like the emperor and the wheel. Okay, this is a Native American counterpart of the wheel. So, and in this card you see the moon, and then we see behind the moon there's the big moon, the full moon and the crescent moon, the rising sun, the sun shining in its full glory, and then the setting sun, and this whole, like they're the cosmic cycles. Native Americans, as we all know, or some of you know, were very, very much in touch with the cosmos, with the universe. They were one with the universe. It was a very, very highly advanced civilization where they were one with the universe. They understood the cycles of the universe. They understood what the planets are telling them. They understood the connection between humans and the planets. And they understood that everything was a big whole. There was no separation. These are the cycles of nature, and similarly, the divine feminine should remember that the twin flame journey is also running in cycles. I mean, there are highs, there are lows. The wheel is turning. Sometimes the wheel is you're on the top of the wheel, and then you're below the wheel, but the wheel is turning. Change is the only constant. Okay, the twin flame journey is in cycles, much like everything else in this universe. And allow for their cycles to complete. Allow them, the masculines, to complete their cycles. The cycles of healing, the cycles of awareness, the cycles of evolution, the cycles of expanding love and contracting fear. As you are allowed your own cycles of facing your shadow self. And yes, this is the last card here for the feminine. It's release. Now we all want a release from the anxiety, the grief, and the angst which is caused by this journey. It's like almost like we want to leave the human body and enter the etheric realms, or just set our spirit free. The longing to go home. A lot of twin flames, we feel like I want to go home, not knowing what we are saying, like don't know where home is. Home is with your twin flame. Home is in source. We want release from the 3D problems and the 3D conflicts. Release from the whole frustration, the yearning, the pain, the longing. And believe me, this is a process. You will find the release. This is a process. Trust the process. I think the main takeaway from today's reading will be trust the process, as is what is happening with the world right now as we speak. Our world has just shifted unexpectedly. And we are sitting at home, not in fear, we are trusting the process. Everybody who is sitting at home is trusting the process. That's the main takeaway from this reading, to trust the process, trust the universe, trust the supreme intelligence of God. Thank you everybody for watching my video, and all of you all have a fantastic day.